Light sunlight filtered through the wooden walls. There was an old cultivation site, quiet but full of energy. A young man walked in slowly. He folded his hands, bowed his head, and said respectfully, "Ancestor." The meditating old cultivator's eyes slowly opened. As soon as he felt the young man's presence, a faint smile appeared on his lips. "This family ancient temple is truly magical," the young man said, his eyes still glowing with cultivation. "In just a few days, I broke through the 97th shackle Zeng, and today I have reached the 98th level. It's amazing." The ancestor took a deep breath and replied in a low voice, "You are truly a rare genius of the Wang family." He cast his gaze into the distance as if reminiscing old times. "Just the day before yesterday I went on a 3-day retreat with your uncle and aunt. We have been trying for years, but the gains we made are not even half of what you have made in these 3 days, Lu." The room was quiet for a while. The wind outside was moving the leaves, as if the trees were listening to the discussion attentively. Hearing this, the young man bowed his head and said softly, "Ancestor, perhaps this is the result of my talent, or perhaps." But then the old ancestor raised his hand to stop him and said in a calm voice, "No, it's not just a question of ability. It's also a question of that wealth, that aura, that special quality, that flows within you." He looked at him deeply as if reading his soul. "Your uncle and you, both are masters of the curse. Your blood has a mark that ordinary cultivators never touch." Then he looked at the walls of the temple. "Faction ancient temple," he said softly. "This is not just a structure, but the abode of the souls of the immortal swordsman gods. Their path, their religion, is different from ours. That's why ordinary cultivators cannot even feel their presence." The young man was about to say something when the ancestor's gaze became more serious. "It is a pity," he said softly, "that one can enter this temple only once, and that too for only 3 days. If I could get 1 or 2 more years there, perhaps I would reach the 100th bar, on the threshold of immortality." The old ancestor slowly picked up the coffee cup on the table. The steam touched his cheeks, but his gaze was stuck in another time. He said slowly, "Yu Tian." The name slipped from his lips like an old feast. Then he took a long sip, as if tasting the thoughts. "After the 4th level," he said in a mysterious voice, "it is impossible to advance by just accumulating experience." The young man was startled, but kept quiet. He knew that some mysterious pearl of wisdom was about to fall. "After that point, what matters is," he said slowly, "how well you understand the depth of your class, what the essence of your power is, what your professional specialties say." He waved his hand in the air, drawing an invisible line, as if showing a way. "It's easy to pick up a profession." His voice had grown heavier now. "But to understand it, to absorb it, and then to master it, that is the real cultivation." Yu Tian's eyes glowed slightly. He looked more serious now. "When you know," the ancestor said, "how to hone your strength, then the next level will automatically welcome you down." Yu Tian's eyes closed for a moment. His breathing was deep, but his face was calm. A thought flashed somewhere inside. Is this just an illusion? Vaccine ancient temple? The mysterious place flashed in his mind. Why did I feel every second, as if some invisible wisdom was touching me? As if the old letters engraved on my soul had shown again, he wondered. Perhaps it was not because I practiced more, but it was because I gained a new understanding of my profession's characteristics. That's why upgrading came so smoothly for me. He slowly opened his eyes. Then he bowed before the elder with complete respect. "Ancestor," his voice was deep, "I have learned this lesson. Now I understand that power comes from understanding, not just from level." Yu Tian asked softly, "Ancestor, when I was on the mountain, I heard some rumors about the Yi family and the Long family. Perhaps there was some old grudge, but I didn't understand clearly." What he really wanted to know was the famous fight between Lu Fan and Ji Long. When Lu Fan saved senior sister from Ji Long's abusive intentions, the ancestor paused for a moment before saying, "What you heard was not a rumor. Ji Long, the heir of the Long family, trampled on the rules of tradition. He forced the daughter of the Yi family." He pauses, as if trying to find his words. "To surrender before the set time, an act that would be called exploitation, not respect." Yu Tian's brows furrowed, his voice hardened. And then, no one opposed him. Ancestor's eyes flashed with pride for a moment. It was done. That girl had a disciple, Lu Fan. He didn't ask for permission from any big faction or clan. He simply followed the voice of his soul and taught Ji-long a lesson publicly, in front of everyone. Yu Tian's eyes widened. He said in disbelief, "Are you saying that a student taught Ji-long a lesson? But he was his senior sister's disciple, and Ji-long, he's a master of the 4 professions." His tone now carried a deep confusion. Yes, his ability may be average, but he has at least reached the 4th level. If he fought me, he would have lasted 3 rounds. He paused, as if not trusting his own words. Then he whispered, "Is that the same Lu Fan? The one who has been in the news recently? The new hero of Dragon Country?" The ancestor bowed his head and said with a slight smile, "Yes, the same Lu Fan, the one who won the national trials, and the one who defeated an arrogant warrior like Ji-long." Yu Tian was now completely stunned. He was only at the 45th level. Then how? How can someone gain so much power at this age? The ancestor spoke in a deep voice. "That boy has become too arrogant. He ignored our rules. He revealed all the secrets about that family. Send a message to the Longjin family. Tell them, return that girl within a month, and settle all old accounts with our Huanglong family." After hearing everything, Yu Oshin says that it is not his fault. He does not know his place. After all, he still does not understand what kind of power the noble families represent. When you are young and full of energy, you climb very high, and now, when you fall down, it hurts you the most. Yu Oshin weighs his words, then says in a deep voice, "If that guy is really that arrogant, then obviously, he has the power of many countries behind him." But he pauses. "If he really dares, if he sets foot in my western border within a month, then I won't kill him." Ancestor takes a deep breath and thinks for a while. Then he says softly, "If that young man accepts the Huang family's service, I can make him not an ordinary warrior, but a future general. For any war, mental and bloody, we need such people." Yuchen leans toward him, then smiles confidently. "If he has sense, he will recognize our kindness. What he will get, respect, power, protection, can't be obtained anywhere else. The Huang family never treats its subordinates unfairly." Ancestor strokes his long beard gently, memories of an old war flashing in his eyes. "That's fine, but the Long family, they may have different intentions. If the Yi family falls, they know better than we do who will be the next victim. Open wars will surely occur, but the real battle will be behind the scenes." Yushin's face has now hardened deeply. He stands up straight and says, "Ancestor, rest assured. This matter is now my responsibility. If the Long family misinterprets our politeness as weakness, then I will personally make them realize that nobility in this world is not determined by blood, but by power. And power is now with us." On the other side, the boat slowly approaches the quiet riverbank. As the boat docks in the misty environment, Lu Fan is the first to disembark. Behind him, his team, Andre, senior sister, and other members, begin to disembark one by one. Then Andre, walking with Lu Fan, asks hesitantly, "Are you sure you're not taking them along?" Lu Fan stops. He looks at the forest spread out in front, where every tree stands as if wrapped in some unknown mystery. He answers without looking back. Lu Fan is silent for a while, then slowly takes steps forward, looking at Andra. His voice is calm but firm. "Andra, this fog you see is not just smoke in the air. It is the shadow fog, slow like poison, but deadly. The deeper you go in, the faster it will start sucking the strength out of your muscles. Your senses will go numb, and you won't even realize how close death is to you." Andra's face turns serious. "And if we take too many people," Lu Fan continues, "then when one person's condition starts to deteriorate, the others will have to stay to save them. And even a moment's delay could spell death in this place." He takes a deep breath. "I need people who are fast, accurate, and mentally strong." Andra thinks for a while, then nods and says, "Okay, you're right." Lu Fan's words startled the priest. His eyebrows furrowed and a slight irritation appeared in his eyes, as if he felt insulted. "So you mean?" The priest said softly but sharply, "We are a burden to you. We have no strength." Lu Fan looked at him coldly, his eyes showing neither hatred nor arrogance, just cold understanding. "I never said you were weak," he replied in a calm voice. "But if you think you can stay on Shadow Island based on rank alone, then you have already lost. So, will you go without the priest?" The priest said in a very cold voice, "Then who will show you the way in?" On hearing this, our hero said that I don't need a priest. I have a dragon who is a priest himself." The member standing next to the priest was momentarily stunned by what Lu Fan said. His eyebrows furrowed and his voice was filled with disbelief. "Are you kidding?" he said sharply. "How can a dragon pet play the role of a priest? This isn't a battle game where strength is everything." His tone was filled with sarcasm. The air became heavy for a moment. But then the other man standing next to him spoke a little calmer, as if he was speaking from experience. "No," he said slowly. "Dragons are indeed powerful. But that's only limited to their offensive ability. When it comes to healing and purification, when it comes to souls, they are far behind priests." After a while of argument and silence, the priest's companion took a deep breath. His eyes showed disagreement, but his face showed fatigue and resignation. He said softly, "Goodbye, Brother Lu Fan. You take care of your own arrangements." His words were bitter, but there was also respect hidden somewhere, perhaps for Lu Fan's fearlessness or for the strange faith he had in his dragon. Then everyone, including the priest, slowly started to return to the boat. As he walked forward, Andre paused for a moment and looked back. He raised his hand gravely and called out, "You all stay in the boat until we get back. This place can be dangerous." Now Lu Fan and his small group slowly moved deeper into the thick, mysterious fog. With each step, the ground seemed a little colder, as if it was gripped by an invisible force. There was a strange humidity in the air. It was neither rain nor wind, but every breath seemed to be a burden on the lungs. After walking a little further, Senior Sister suddenly stopped. There was a thin layer of sweat on her forehead, and her face looked paler than ever. She looked at Lu Fan. Her eyes were filled with worry, fatigue, and an unspoken warning. "Lu Fan, our bodies are getting heavier with each step, not just day by day. This fog," she took a deep breath, as if it took energy to say the words out loud. "It is swallowing up our lives, not slowly, but quickly." Lu Fan's brows furrowed. He paused for a moment. Andre took a deep breath. His breathing was heavy now, and sweat was shining on his forehead. The cold of the fog had penetrated deep inside him, but he forced himself together. "I feel it too," he said, his voice a little softer than before, but still determined. "This fog is draining our strength. But," he paused, clenching his fists, "I can still hold on." He turned to Lu Fan and Senior Sister. His eyes were full of determination, but there was also a hidden worry that could no longer be hidden. "But if we just go in further, without stopping, without thinking," he looked around, "we will quickly lose our lives. The hunger of this fog never ends." Lu Fan listened quietly, but his eyes were fixed ahead, deep in the fog, as if he was trying to identify something unseen. "Now is the time," he said deeply. And at that moment the air trembled. Shia. Her name appeared in Lu Fan's mind like a mere thought, and the next moment a shadow cut through the air, emerging from the mist, huge, mysterious, and glowing with a bright green light. Shia had appeared. He was no ordinary being. The emerald aura surrounding him cut through the fog, like a heavenly ray overpowering the darkness. Without hesitation, Lu Fan ordered, "Shia, release the emerald light. Show us the way and dispel this fog." Xiafei's eyes glowed. A wave burst out from her body, and in an instant, a wavy streak of green light rose from her back and spread out all around. The fog began to move. Slowly, the heavy mist began to retreat, and the path in front of them began to brighten. Everyone stood stunned. Then suddenly, 3 intense waves burst out from Xiafei's back, layers of emerald blessing which covered Lu Fan, Andre, and Senior Sister's bodies one by one. With each layer, their breathing began to steady. The fog's effect seemed to be diminishing. The body's exhaustion slowed down, and consciousness became sharper. This emerald light was no ordinary skill. It created 3 layers of emerald blessing on each person, which eliminated all kinds of negative effects, and increased all attributes such as strength, agility, stamina by 30%. Plus, each layer can block lethal damage once. That's a full defense for up to 3 attacks. "Whoa," Senior Sister looked surprised. "I've never felt magic like this. This isn't a protective barrier, it's a blessing." Andre nodded. "Now I understand why you didn't need a priest. Shia. She's a walking temple." But the next moment, something that no one had imagined happens. Andre's eyes widen. His tired body, which was staggering slowly till now, suddenly fills with energy. He stands up with all his might, as if someone has breathed new life into him. He takes a deep breath and says in surprise, "What was this?" All my fatigue disappeared, and my strength, is stronger than ever. There was a look of surprise and disbelief on his face. The last time the priests came to this place, they collapsed in just a few hours. But now, it's as if nothing happened. The senior sister standing nearby also slowly looks at her hands, feels her breathing, and then says in shock, "The fatigue in my body has completely disappeared. And my inner strength has also increased. How is this possible?" Andra, who was now filled with power, felt a strange excitement surging within him. He picked up his huge hammer from the ground, and his voice boomed as his muscles tensed. "I think I feel stronger than ever. Let's head straight to Shadow Falls." His roar caused a stir in the fog as he charged forward. His pace grew faster, and he was quickly far ahead of the others, about 100 meters ahead. But just then, Lu Fan's eyes trembled slightly. His eyelids contracted, and his breathing became labored. Something had changed in the air. The atmosphere became heavy. "Andra, just a minute! Wait!" Lu Fan called out loudly, his hand raised in the air, but Andre had already moved forward. He stopped, looked ahead, and whispered, "Hey, what's going on?" Lu Fan, who had now turned his back. Friends, this is where this exciting chapter ends. What will happen next as Lu Fan and his group step into the darkness of Shadow Falls? Will they be able to escape the mysterious danger lurking in the fog? If you want to know what is going to happen to them, don't miss the next chapter.